It's Bend Your Ear with Ben Hartong.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bend Your Ear with Ben Hartong. The last episode went so well that I decided to do another one. Okay, but in all seriousness, thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to my podcast. At first, I wasn't sure if this was going to be a success, but you guys blew me away with all the love and support you gave me. So far, I have 186 views on my podcast and 16 new subscribers. That's amazing. And you know what they say? If you can make 16 people happy, then you can make the whole world happy. Just kidding. Nobody says that. Well, moving on, I have a great show planned ahead. Very soon I will be interviewing a very special guest, so you certainly don't want to miss out on that. But let me give you a quick rundown on what's going to happen in today's episode. In honor of baseball's return, the production crew over at Bend Your Ear Studios, aka me, have decided to dedicate this episode entirely to baseball. So with that being said, please rise for the performance of Take Me Out to the Ballgame by our very own guest correspondent, Rooney.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. So it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Thank you very much, Rooney. And now, it's about time to introduce the special guest for today. You may know him as a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the one and only Brent Suter. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I'm great. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Love the name of the show, by the way. Bend Your Ear. Very good.
Thank you so much. Okay.
So, as we know, baseball is back up and running. The first official games are tomorrow, and Milwaukee is playing the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field tomorrow, July 24th. Are you kind of excited to play your first regular season game?
Yeah, very excited. It's been a long time coming. We thought this would be kind of back in March. We thought opening day would be, and then, stuff happened with COVID. And so MLB is doing everything great. I mean, everything so far has been really seamless. The protocol has been followed really well, and so that we feel really safe at the ballpark. So that's not a worry at all. And we're just trying to focus on baseball. All of our focus is on baseball right now, and getting off to a good start. 60 games makes every game that much more important. So every game is basically like a 3-game winning streak or losing streak in a regular season. So we're really excited.
Yeah. So your first regular season game is against the Chicago Cubs. Your first home game is against the St. Louis Cardinals. So are you kind of excited to go play one of your first games at Miller Park? Excited to be back and playing baseball?
Yeah, for sure. Miller Park it's one of the best places to play. Our fans are one of the main reasons why that is, but unfortunately they can't be there this year. But it's still just a great place to play baseball. That roof is worth every bit of money they put into it because of all the worry of weather or anything is just not on your mind because you're going to be playing that day. So it's incredible, and we have some special things planned for the home opener, so that'll be fun. But and playing division rivals who are really good teams like the Cubs and Cardinals it's always fun to compete against those guys. We're basically we've kind of traded off division titles the last 3 years. First was Cubs and us, and then Cardinals. So we've all been at the pinnacle, and we want to get back. So it'll be fun baseball to watch.
Yeah, very competitive teams, both within the NL and AL Central. Is there anything, as we know, MLB is doing all they can to keep the players safe. Have you noticed any differences in maybe some precautions between Chicago and Milwaukee?
A lot of similarities. Whenever the teams are able to make things outside. They're taking advantage of that and using their facilities to the best of their ability for sure. Both Milwaukee and Chicago have done a great job with that. I think our weight room's out on the concourse right now. We're encouraged to spend as much time outside of the clubhouse as possible, and that's really made easy by the setup. And our training room, I think, is closed outside, and there's really good ventilation, getting that air kind of out of there. So just in case someone contracts it, they'll be able to get those droplets out of there and not infect a whole bunch of people. So they're doing a really good job. Milwaukee was really awesome as well. So yeah, I haven't noticed any difference in terms of one doing it better than the other. I just know they're both have done it really well.
Yeah, so among MLB's precautions, they have had no spitting, so that includes chewing gum or sunflower seeds. Players are sometimes permitted to wear masks, and all staff members are permitted to wear masks. What's it like playing with those conditions? Is it difficult, or is it just kind of, the new normal and you're adjusting to how you're going to have to play in the future?
I think for some guys, the spitting is more difficult than others. I'm kind of a spitter myself, but it's not been too difficult to transition away from the spitless life, or the spitful life, I would say. So That hasn't been too bad for me. I know some guys are still having some difficulty with it. Some guys, another rule is that you can't go to your mouth and then go to the ball, just to avoid spreading the droplets. So I know a lot of guys go to their mouth and then to the ball. So if you do that, it's a warning. And if you do it again, it's a ball, like in the count. And then every time you do it after, it's another ball. So, some guys will have difficulty with that. Fortunately, I don't have that. I don't go to my mouth a whole lot, so I should be safe from that. But who knows? We're all human. We all mess up.
Yeah, so you're a pitcher, and that's kind of a thing that pitchers do often is they kind of they lick their hands and then pitch it kind of for the grip. So I've heard it does make it a little more difficult, but yeah, and of course, as you said, for some players it's harder than others. And then aside from all the spitting and no touching your face, there are also, since obviously there are no fans permitted in the stadium, they're using cardboard cutouts to fill out those empty seats. Right. I wanted to get your take. What's it like on having those cardboard cutouts kind of be your fans?
It's kind of cool. Some fans have gotten very creative with their images for sure. It's been kind of funny to look up there. I know a guy in the White Sox stadium had like two whole sections bought out, and he was just like in sunglasses going like that on every one of them. And then another guy was shirtless with like, sunscreen type patterns on his chest. It was really funny. Yeah. So there's some funny things going on, but I think it's cool. I think it's a fun way to keep the fans, kind of in the ballpark, remembering that there are people that are watching, and get those fans involved. I think if in some stadiums, if the ball lands in their seat, they get to keep that ball or something along those lines. So that's pretty cool. So just any way to try to keep the fans still present and engaged at the ballpark is really cool and really good for the game.
Yeah, so it's kind of almost like a perk of having there being cardboard cutouts, is you can send in as many as you want, and you can be there in more than one seat. So I think that's definitely something fun and something I'll be looking forward to while watching the games. So are there any specific teammates on the Brewers, or any really players on any team that you have been exceptionally close to during this time, this very, unpredictable time? Any players that you have been close to, or any players you think have done an outstanding job on and off the field?
Yeah, I think our team in general did a really good job of staying in touch with each other, having, Zoom calls, player meetings and all that stuff. So we did a good job staying in touch and keeping that camaraderie that we built in spring alive throughout the quarantine. But certainly Brandon Woodruff, who's our opening day starter tomorrow, he's one of my closest buddies on the team. His wife and my wife are really good friends. They live right across the sidewalk at the same apartment complex as us. So we spend a lot of time together, and we're always talking with each other, FaceTime and all that all the time during the quarantine. So they're probably one of our closer friends on the team, but we're close with a lot of the team, if not everybody. So it was kind of a good period of like keeping that camaraderie together, and it showed up right when we got back together in summer camp. But we picked up right where we left off.
Yeah, so you guys have been able to, kind of keep touch, with video chats like this, because before we found out that MLB was coming back, players were just at home wondering what they were going to do. So you guys were able to keep in touch and still reenact with your teammates even while you were away.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird period because certainly April and May there was no chance of playing or coming back, but we were all hoping for that, around June 10th, June 15th, kind of summer camp restarting and getting the game going back in July. But unfortunately, the negotiations took a turn for the worse at some point, so it delayed a little bit. But also, I mean, I think it also, in hindsight, we learned more about the virus and learned more specifically about protocols and what to really focus on, what not to focus on as hard. So I think it might have been somewhat of a blessing in disguise, but still, it was kind of an ugly look for the sport for a while. But hopefully, we can move past it, get some fans to come back on the baseball train, and have a great season.
Yeah, no, I was certainly excited when I heard that baseball was coming back. All right, so many people know you as a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, but what some people might not know is that you were a Cincinnati native. You were a graduate from Moeller High School. Are you looking forward to going on the road and playing in your hometown this season?
Yeah, for sure. Cincy's always my favorite road trip. Get to go home, be with family, sleep in my own bed, and play baseball at the same time. So it's incredible every time going back there. I don't think we go back until the second to last season or series of the regular season. So it'll be a little bit before I go back there. But the good thing about living in Milwaukee is that my wife and son are able to go back and forth because it's just, a 6-hour drive. So
Yeah.
While I'm on the road, a lot of times my wife and son and dog will go back home. So that makes it really nice proximity. And then, playing in the same division as the Reds is really, really great. And I forgot to mention they really got better this past year and have they're going to be right in the race for this NL Central. So it's going to be a good battle for the title this year.
Yeah, I certainly, I certainly look forward to watching the Brewers and the Reds play. I think that's going to be very interesting games. They're both very competitive, well-rounded teams. All right, so, as I talked about, have there been any special memories you've made throughout this time with all the, COVID stuff and really anything when you've been practicing with all of the precautions, any certain things you think you're never going to forget?
Yeah, all the time with my wife and son, for sure. We had some ISO time, if you will, a lot of isolated time together where we, sometimes we were driving each other a little crazy, but for the most part, we were really getting along and really bonding together. And staying on our toes to entertain a 18, 20-month-old son. He was like 16 months when this whole thing started, but yeah, it's a handful to keep him entertained, but it's a blast at the same time. So every day was a new adventure. I think I got into gardening too in the quarantine time and was doing some songwriting and all that. So those were definitely memories for me to share with Liam. He started recognizing songs. He started planting plants with me, watching them grow and eating them too. So that was really fun to kind of bond over nature. And then just, some of the great times we had with our bubble of, immediate family. We had, a lot of fun memories. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law got a dog, a new puppy during that time. So it's really cool to watch him and help train him and all that. So a lot of good memories. Kind of spending the summer and spring in Cincinnati was something I hadn't done since 2008. So I was like looking at plants blooming in the backyard, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that did that this time of year because I had never seen it. So that was cool. And just kind of like a breath of just relaxation, if you will. We were all geared up and we were bummed that the season didn't happen when it did, but like at the same time, it was just kind of like a chance to just reflect on life, be grateful for everything we had, and just kind of take a little breath of like, okay, let's just be present and let's just, we're all in this together. Let's get through this together.
Yeah. So, aside from all the COVID stuff, It's been there are a lot of great things to quarantine. Get to spend time with some family, and kind of discover things you never would have otherwise discovered, which is kind of a nice thing, for me at least. And I'm hearing for you, spending time with your son and your wife. So it's great. Um, okay, so switching back to baseball. What do you think about? We just heard very recently that the Canadian government has just denied the Toronto Blue Jays the opportunity to play in their home stadium since they are discouraging international travel. So, what do you think about that? How do you think that's going to play out for the Blue Jays not being able to play in their own stadium?
Yeah, I think they're kind of nomadic at this point. I think they tried to play in Pittsburgh and they got denied there. I think they're trying to shoot for the Orioles, sharing the Orioles park, Camden Yards. It kind of is up to the Baltimore government and Maryland government to accept that or not. But we have a bunch of ex-Brewers on the Blue Jays too, either by trade or free agents. So it's been crazy talking to them. They're their lockdown after their intake testing was like a whole nother level beside from ours, like because they had to like literally be tried to pass every Canadian test in the quarantine. I think they're fine if they were seen outside the hotel was like $750,000 just to really try to make sure no one left the hotel. So it was lockdown for sure with them. And I'm hoping they find somewhere to play for a lot of reasons. But yeah, it's crazy the journey they're on right now.
Yeah, so they're looking for to share a stadium with other teams, mainly on the East Coast. And another thing they're shooting for is if they aren't able to share a stadium with another MLB team, they're shooting for either their AAA affiliates stadium in Buffalo, New York, or their spring training facility in Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed things about Buffalo, so I don't know if that could be conducive to a big league, big league games or not. We'll see. But I know I played in Dunedin a good amount of times in the Florida State League, and it was not the best facility, but I think you'd be able to host major league teams there and keep everything within protocol. I think it could be done, but I guess they would prefer Camden Yards over that if they're shooting for that right now. But yeah, let's hope something works out. Otherwise, they're on the road the entire year.
Yeah, that would be certainly interesting to see how that plays out. All right, so switching gears from baseball, I have heard that you are a huge climate change activist and that you are very into researching climate change and preserving the earth for future generations. Is there anything you maybe want to say to those younger generations looking to preserve our Earth's ecosystems?
Yeah, a lot of what we've done in the past, good or bad, you can learn from and try to better. I think, and we were actually talking about this on the buzz on the way home from the workout. Someone asked me, what's one thing that you would like to see change to help the climate fight? And I said there's a bunch of things, but the top two in my mind are finding a new way for energy generation rather than fossil fuels and stopping the huge tax breaks and the policy that really encourages fossil fuel exploration and usage and trying to use those funds to divert into renewable energy. And another one is kind of shifting away from industrial farming and going back to the organic farming with the land. Industrial farming, it has short-term profits and gains that are a little higher than organic farming, but in the long run it just depletes the soil quality and really feeds emissions big time, that the CO2 emissions that we all know are not great for the climate. So we definitely, those two things are some of the big things to advocate for and do. I'd say individually we can all do things that we can control. Our diet, we can make sure things that we eat are planet friendly, try to avoid red meat and eat less meat in general. Could really go a long way. Eat sustainable, locally sourced organic food is one of the best way to contribute to the fight against industrial farming and for local organic farming. And simple things like turning the lights off, turning the water off, taking shorter showers, using only what you need to not using too much waste, using reusable water bottles, cups, Tupperware, silverware, all that stuff, rather than throw away, single-use plastics or styrofoam. And styrofoam is not good.
Oh yeah, definitely not good. Yeah, it's a very important thing to be studying right now, especially in this day and age. And speaking of the climate right now, it actually just started raining on my end, so I apologize in advance for any background noises that either the viewers at home are getting right now. Okay, so also, speaking of climate change, you, correct me if I'm wrong, you have a t-shirt that you helped co-design that benefits the Milwaukee Urban Ecology Center. Can you tell us more about that and what that organization does?
Yeah, we sold the shirt. It's still technically available, I think, on the athletes.vip website, athletes brand. And all the proceeds went to Urban Ecology Center, which really gives urban youth and access to nature. They have 3 sites in Milwaukee where they've turned kind of like industrial wasteland into vibrant natural parks, and they have unbelievable ecosystems working there. One of their a river runs through one of their sites, and it's now like one of the best fisheries in Wisconsin, just because of how productive the land is right around the water and how clean that water is. So they do unbelievable things. They do like field trips, hikes, cleanups, bike rides, all kinds of nature walks, all kinds of things that get the community and the youth involved in nature. They have unbelievable eco guides for these kids, and it's just really a combination of things that are really passionate, near and dear to my heart. Obviously the environment, but also reaching out to underserved communities, people who are in communities that have really not gotten a fair shake in this life, and trying to give them a leg up. So it's a great organization. I'm really good friends with Ken Leinbach, who started it, and they do awesome things. Can't thank them and for their work enough.
Yeah, it's certainly a very important thing, and thank you for being an activist through something that is so essential in our lives. All right, so before I let you go, I heard that you are sort of a master of impressions. So yeah, so I hope we can do this one last game. I wrote down 5 different impressions that I was hoping you might be able to do. And they're all baseball themed. So since this is kind of a baseball episode, I kind of wanted to integrate baseball with some of your impressions. So, you ready to get started?
Yes.
All right. So the first one I heard you're good at is Ace Ventura. So the first one I have is Ace Ventura announcing the Brewers lineup.
Alrighty then. Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Brewers Baseball. Today, leading off for the Brewers is number 6, Lorenzo Cain. He's a good bat.
Oh my God.
Hitting second for the Brew Crew. You know him as the MVP. You chant his name over and over again. He's Christian Yelich. He's number 22.
Yeah, that is
today's
awesome.
lineup, we have Ryan Braun, number 8. They call him the Ocho. And then
Yeah, that is incredible. I love that. All right, so the second one is Gollum from Lord of the Rings as an umpire.
Okay.
Oh, that was a great pitch. But I don't think it was a strike, but I think it was, Master. It was a strike. It was precious.
Oh, man. That is awesome. I wish I was that good at impressions. All right, so the third one is Forrest Gump from Forrest Gump, running the bases.
So what I do, I just stand here at first base, okay, and when he hits the ball, I just run and I keep on running. Jenny, she's watching me in the stands, and she's going, just keep running, Forrest. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep on running.
Run, Forrest, run.
Yeah.
All right. So the fourth one I have for you is Gru heckling the players from the stands. Gru from Despicable Me.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of his voice. He's not one I do a whole lot, but
something like that. Oh, no, that you need to go back to your dugout. You need to go back to your dugout because you're not welcome here. You
and all your team, okay, need to go back to the dugout and sit down and shut up. Thank you.
All right, so the last one, this is definitely my favorite one because I have him right here with me. Ron Burgundy
Oh,
from, of course, the infamous movie Anchorman, ordering food at Miller Park. It's right here.
yes. Good evening. Good evening. Stay classy, everybody. But I would like a scotch. Oh, you don't have scotch. What else do you have? You don't have any kind of liquor. Okay. Could I do a beer? No. Oh, a Miller Lite. Yes. Yes. And a hot dog. You stay classy now, concession worker. Thank you.
Of course, that is great. That is, of course, one of my all-time favorite movies.
Nice.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the show and for all you do. I am looking forward to watching you play this season. I wish you luck at tomorrow's game. And I hope you have a great season.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
All right, bye.
See you, Ben.
Huge thanks to Brent Suter for being a part of today's broadcast. So signing off, I'm Ben Hartong. Thanks for letting me bend your ear. Cue the outro.